Good morning. It is time for Coffee Talk. It is, 6 a.m. on Sunday. I am up, and you probably are not being brighter than I am, but I've got my coffee ready to go. You can see I've got an ELC Even 90 in my garage. Why do I have an ELC Even 90 in my garage? Because of the generosity of you guys supporting the channel. It's not something I talk about too much. You know, I'm not a YouTuber that's living off my YouTube earnings. In fact, there wouldn't be any, but that would be really difficult. I'm not a starving college student, anything like that, but I do appreciate the support. And when I do build up enough support, let's call it that, I turn it back into the game. And in this case, I got this ELC Even 90, which is the special today for the calendar. And I will do 20 battles at least on this, and then I will give you guys a review on the ELC Even 90. So when I do get this support, I turn it into premium time, I turn it into gold, turn it into vehicles, and then I'm able to do the reviews of the vehicles for you. So again, I don't touch on this a whole lot, but I do very much appreciate it. There's a little bit of the fruits of the labor right there. So thank you for that. In addition to that, codes. Let's talk codes. We are going to go ahead and switch over to the website, and we're going to talk a couple things. So first of all, if I can find my section, there we go. All right, this is on the forum. Excuse me, these are codes right here that you're going to want. You can use CC for Tankers DEC. You can use my personal code CC Guido DEC, which I put out a while ago. There's brace yourselves. I'm tomato and that's okay. Not I'm a. The A got left out, so it's actually I am tomato and that's okay. Krampuswagen. Winter is here, and there's one more. Santa Maus. SANTAMAUS. I don't know if both Krampuswagen and Santa Maus works, but we're going to find out because I'm going to show you how you do these codes. We're going to try Winter is Here. Now, the way you do codes, if you're old like me and afraid of things like that, all those crazy internet kids and their codes, go to either the official page or the forums. You'll see your name up the top right when you log in. That's where your name shows. Hit the little down arrow. Go all the way down to the bottom, buried down here, activate Wargaming code. Pretty easy. You're going to get a page like this. And then we're going to put Krampuswagen because I'm not sure that you can do both Santa Maus and Krampuswagen, but let's find out. Krampuswagen, redeem. Oh, it's not valid. Did I spell it right? Let me find out here. Uh-oh, what happened? All right, here we go. Krampuswagen. Yep, it looks like you only do one of those. So let's do Winter is Here, because I know I haven't done that one. And that is not Winter. That's, yeah, that is Winter. You know what? Maybe it has to be caps. Hold on. I don't think so, though. Winter is Here. Thinking. Thank you. You can't see it, but behind my face right here, I got the receipts of additional experience and reserve. So go ahead and knock out those codes. I'll have them scroll down at the bottom while I'm talking about this, and you can go crazy. When you get all 4 of the scavenger hunt codes, you're going to get another pile, I think it's ×4, of reserves out of that. The CC codes, like 4 tankers and a dog, and my code, which are CC, the person's name, DEC, you can only do 1 community contributor's code. Then you need 3 more of the codes that come off of their various social sites. I'm tomato and that's okay might have been Facebook, I don't remember. Winter is Here is a second one. Krampuswagen and Santa Maus are another thing, but they're codes you can use. So just, they put 2 code things out at once right there, and it's a little bit confusing. Hopefully that explained it there for you. All right, let's jump into the specials and missions. We'll start with the specials here. We'll go over to the World O Tanks site, And we got the advent calendar. One thing to remember about that is there is not a button in the UI for some reason in Garage to take you directly to the calendar, but let's go ahead and just show that real quickly since I'm talking about it. Let's turn off second monitor. If you go here and you swing it around, see the even 90 in the background here, this guy? Click on that and it will take you, it's so painful. Gives you a quick idea of what the tank is there, but then down here at the bottom where it says to calendar, go ahead and do that, and it's just a roundabout way. And remember to click on the mission of the day over here, another button to click. It drives me crazy. Now you have a mission that will show up in your missions tab. We'll get to that in just a minute, and you can purchase it with money or with gold. All right. Let's jump back over to the web page, because be careful here. You can purchase it with gold. It's, I want to say, 6,800, which is a pretty good deal for a tier 8 tank, although it is a light tank. You get a crew, slot, a garage slot, and the tank. But if you purchase it with money, so let's go back over to that. And here it is right here, which is what I ended up doing, because you've got minus 20, you get a 20% discount with the money thing. You also get 30 days of premium, and let's click on it, 2,500 gold. So all that added together is a lot better deal than purchasing it with gold, unless you got a ton of gold that's burning a hole in your pocket, which people do, because some people do a lot of the tournaments and things, and they're flush with gold, so whatever, you know, 6,800. But if you're looking for probably what's the best deal, I would suggest, you know, $40 in gold was about 9,000 gold, $40 for the tank, 2,500 gold, 30 days of premium, 25. I think that, to me anyway, just pure what's the best deal, that was probably it. But that's to taste. Do it your way. All right, that's all the singing you get today. Well, I don't know, maybe we'll do more. There's lots of stuff here. The Fury is out. The Loza is out. The STA-2 is out. Wow, look at that. T-14 war chest, all kinds of war chests. The T-92 is back. That is a great light, fellas. I've been on a light tank kick, and that's why I got the even 90. Really enjoying the light tanks right now. That's a good one. That is a good one. And I didn't see a whole bunch more that I really wanted to touch on here. Let's jump over to the specials. There's the ELC again. Lots of Shermans going on. This is the T-28E with the F-30, whatever. I mean, it's a low tier tank, tier 4? If that's your thing. Not amazing. Now, I've mentioned this a couple times because times 10 at 749 is a good deal considering what they charge for a garage slot. Later on in this video, we're going to touch on Quickie Baby's video that just came out. One of his points in there is how expensive the game is, which is a great point, and I've mentioned it on multiple occasions. And as I was getting ready to make this video, it just again struck me as I looked at this. You know, you're thinking, wow, 50% is a great deal. And I've in fact said that in the past. But you're considering you're getting 10 slots for $7.50. Why are they so expensive? 10 of those is 15 bucks without the discount. Now, a lot of times you get free slots for missions. A lot of times a slot comes with a tank. There's a lot of ways to get a slot. And at Christmas, they're going to give us a tier 2 premium. A lot of people will sell those and take the slot. So there's ways to get them, but just pure monetization of a garage slot, which should be something that Wargaming wants you to have a lot of fairly easily. So you want to play their game and spend silver and keep the, I mean, it's really a base part of the game. So the mentality seems to be, well, it's a base part of the game, so we're going to get them on it. We're going to charge them. Whereas from my standpoint, I'm thinking, hey, you give those out. You let people have a garage as big as they want. We'll touch on some of that stuff a little while later. All right, let's move on. Jumping into the missions, the E100 is on track. On tracks are a good deal if that's the line that you are running. Tournament missions continue. The tank masteries, there's 2 of those. I haven't really paid much attention to those. Whoa. I hate how the scroll works on this thing. It's just nuts. Tank mastery, and we get down to the bottom. All right, other missions. So, Advent Calendar Day 9 is destroy 3 vehicles, and you get 2 credit boosters. That's pretty good. That's the mission I just accepted. So remember, until you go there and accept, it doesn't show up into your mission tab here. There's the even 90, which has some times 5 bonus for whatever it said, 10 or 15 or 50 or I don't remember, however many games it was that it said I got. So that's really the only missions that are out there right there. And of course the one that's been going on for quite a while, which is a pretty good deal as well. Just free stuff for play your tank class right. None of which I've really finished. You kind of have to concentrate on one, driving your lights or driving your mediums, finishing up, and then move on if you want to try to do all those. And a lot of them are per day, so it's, I don't know, it's a good deal, but it's not that easy to knock out. And since I jump around tank classes and don't play, sit down and do big sessions right now because I'm still running off a hotspot, doesn't help me too much. But if it's helping you guys, that's good, because at the end of the Light Tank 401 or Tank Destroyer 401, it's that 10,000 experience that drops on the tank that you're playing at that moment, which is really good. All right, well, let's dig into it, man. Let's talk about Quickie Babies. So the entire Watt universe is all aflutter because Quickie Baby dropped a video that says, posed the question, is World of Tanks dying? Now, he's probably the biggest, or if not probably, he is the biggest EU/English speaking World of Tanks CC. I'm not even sure if he's officially a CC or not, but personality, YouTube, whatever. And it is a bit of a clickbait thing, which I kind of take exception to, because clickbait, of course you're going to clickbait. It's the internet. You want your title to be something that people want to check out. When you're that big, you can't drop that weekly. Hey, is it dying? Is it dying? Is it dying? It's kind of gets into the boy who cried wolf. So the timing is interesting, and he obviously felt like he was going to drop it then. So the cynical part of me says, oh, he's just clickbaiting. And the other part of me says, well, he's got some honest opinions about the game, which he does. And it wasn't a rant, it wasn't a rage. It was just some very well thought out ideas, not all of which I completely agree with. So for me, it's interesting because the game obviously is declining, right? We don't want to call it dying, or maybe you want to call it dying. You can call it dying if you want. It's clearly not dead. There's still a ridiculous amount of people in Europe and Russia playing it, and a considerable but not a lot of people playing it in NA. And it's always been interesting to me that in North America it never really caught on like it did in Europe and Russia. There's a lot of reasons for that. I think the biggest one is just the mentality of the home office simply did not sync with North American consumers. Just some of the things they do, the way they treat players, some of the promotions, the cost of the game, the monetization, all those things wrapped in a big bundle. I can put my finger on a few specific things, and I've talked about them in the past. But I'm not going to dig into the weeds as far as that goes, but just as a generalization, just the kind of the way they've operated the game just did not stick with the North American players, and I think that's unfortunate. I will touch on one thing though about it, and it's a part of it that I actually like. It's hardcore, right? There's no respawns, there's no touchy-feely, and what's funny about it is even the way the company operates the game is kind of hardcore towards the players. And that's not necessarily good. I like the hardcore part of the game where it's a very competitive, unforgiving game. But I think because the home office and the developers have that attitude and they put it in their game, that attitude sort of goes towards their customers as well. So the game obviously is declining. It's 8-10 years old. I mean, at least 10, right? Older, I believe, when development started. 10 for being alpha or beta, even playable kind of thing, somewhere around there. That's an incredible run for a game. Some of us, like me, have been around 7-8 years. And it's been the main game I've played that entire time. That's how good it is, at least to me. And that brings me to my point, my major point as I'm talking here, is that, yes, the game can be declining, and I'm going to say that I don't care. Now, I don't mean I don't care because I want it to go away or I wish it ill or I want the developers to, fail. That's not it in any way, shape, or form. It's just that I'm playing the game and I still enjoy the game. There's plenty of stuff I don't like about it. It does make me rage, like anything that you do that you're trying to be good at. If you fail at it, you kind of get angry sometimes. And occasionally, well, let's be honest, more than occasionally, the developers do dopey stuff. They really do. They have stepped on their own schwants. I mean, we don't. why even go through the list? But every game developer does that, and that's kind of my point here. And every game starts to die. And I think if you look at a little bit of the glass half full, not being rosy and being a cheerleader and saying, everything's okay, don't worry about it, as the earth falls around you. It's still a good game, right? Or we wouldn't all be here. And that's the interesting part. Now that's a big part of his video, is saying, all right, I've laid out what the problems are here. It is declining, and then he did say he was going to do a follow-up with the things that could be improved. And I've talked about that quite a bit on the things that I believe can be improved in this game. And it goes back to a lot of the missteps, which I was just talking about, from the developers. So you're not going to go back and change the missteps. You wish a lot of them hadn't happened, but to be honest, they're probably not, except for a couple, as bad as some other games, where the games have completely imploded from the mistakes that the developers have made. And those are interesting case studies that I'm not going to go over them. You may have some in your own mind. But it is impressive to me that the game is still going this strong after this long, and that I'm still that interested in it. Now, some of you may be saying, well, Guido, you're a CC, so now you're a paid shill. Well, let's be honest. To some extent, sort of, yeah. They asked me to be a CC because I don't rage against them and call them a bunch of DHs and names and stuff. I still call it like it is, as far as I'm concerned. You may think differently. Does that maybe temper some of the things I say? Hey, let's be real. We're humans. I like the access to the stuff. So as long as it hasn't hit my limit where I'm going to take off, then I'm okay with it. But it goes back to the very beginning of this video where I talked about I'm not making a living off this. This is a hobby for me. So my concentration then, after saying all that stuff, is I'm just playing the game, man. I'm just here to play the game, enjoy myself. I'm going to roll with the punches. There's a few things about the game I'd love to change. Artillery, for one, less RNG, a couple other little things in there as well. But in my opinions on a lot of that stuff are well known, at least by the few viewers that I have right here. But all that being said, running around chicken with your head cut off, world is dying, and the world of tanks is dying. I'm kind of like, so yeah, right. One day they will probably turn the servers off, and then maybe somebody will pick it up and they'll run it as an indie game or something like that. But I think that's a long time from now. Would I love to see the developers change their ways in a lot of cases and treat their customer base better? Yeah, absolutely. Would I love to see them stop making PR missteps one after another? Yeah, absolutely. But one of the best points that Quickie Baby made, and it really, to me, is the core issue here, which gets talked about but nobody really thinks about, because they launch off into what's happening and developers this and they're doing that and they're not treating us right and yada yada. The core thing about that is that they're not Westerners. The game was not built in North America or even Western Europe for that kind of consumer. It was built in Belarusia. Is it Bilo or Bello? Whatever it is. Everyone says buy Russians. They're not Russians. Whatever. The former Eastern Bloc. And the audience is Russian, essentially, or Eastern European, and to some extent Western European as the major audience. So especially in my case as a North American CC, we're a tiny little section of that, even though probably our spending power is large. What we care about, what we get angry about, to be quite honest, simply really doesn't matter to them. And that's not being whiny or saying, oh, you don't like us or whatever. That's not the point. It's just realism. Let's be realistic. That's not the base of their game. That doesn't mean they want to get rid of North America, because here's the thing. The numbers look good with the game because they've got that massive chunk of players over there, but the income from that section, I'd like to see the numbers. I wondered if it even matches. And I bet with our tiny player base over here, between us and Western Europe, we probably outspend the rest of the game, would be my guess. Minus China. Take China. I don't know what's going on over there with those guys. They're not really, they're doing it by license. That would be an interesting number to note. And the reason I bring that up is because while they can kind of ignore us, they can't completely ignore us because there's income coming in from that section. And hopefully that continues long enough that our server continues going, although we've seen that decline pretty well. And I'm about to go out and talk to the guys out in Austin, hang out, do some streaming, and say hello and that kind of thing. We really want that voice to still be going in the game for us, because if they pulled all the offices out of North America and then close the server, well, we're reaching into Europe or whatever, and then we're dealing with ping issues and the rest of it. And if you think your voice doesn't exist now, wait till there's no North American office for Wargaming World of Tanks. I'm not saying I know anything about that. I'm just saying, I'm just riffing off the whole thing. So it was a good video. Check it out. For Quickie Baby, pretty long. Only thing I'll say about Quickie Baby's video is I wish he would stop with the editing cuts, because that, I feel like I need Dramamine or something. I guess that allows him to put more words in less time because there's no pausing or ums or ahs or anything. But anyway, I'm just kidding, Quickie Baby. Keep doing your thing, brother. See how I name drop? And this is like trying to start a rapper war. You're the new rapper, and then you try to start some business with the the big famous rapper. And hey, it's like East Coast to West Coast, or West Continent, East Continent. Yeah. Where was I? So I just wanted to address that thing. One of you guys actually sent me a note, said, hey, you should address the Quickie Baby thing. And instead of going through point by point or saying, hey, laying out what I don't like about World of Tanks and what I think should be changed, I thought I'd just talk about the generalization of the entire idea that, yeah, it's declining. It's how they do, right? But is it the end of the world? No. In fact, he's not saying that either. He's just noting the fact that it's probably time to start maybe talking about what's been going on, which, quite honestly, I've been talking about that for a long time. I think the company has made enough missteps that they've hurt themselves considerably, and they would probably be in a much better position if they did some things differently and did not step on their schwanzes quite as much in the recent past. But it's a big international game, man. We're a little part. A lot of that may play just fine over in their other consumer bases. I mean, the Russians may find this whole us whining about it hilarious, for all I know. I don't speak Russian, so I don't know what's going on in their forums. I do know that they have some of the same concerns that we do about the game, but I don't know. That's basically the way I look at it. Let's move on. Well, that is it, everybody. I'm down to the end of my coffee. I babbled for quite a while right there. Still on hotspot ops. Reduced the resolution of the videos a little bit. Hopefully that's not too annoying. I'm able to get some uploads going early in the morning, so I'm actually attempting a pretty much full up coffee talk for this morning. Make sure you get those codes. I'll try to add those all scroll across the bottom before I send this thing out. Remember that next Friday, the 14th, which is less than a week away. Yeah, Friday the 14th. I should be at Wargaming headquarters in Austin and doing a little streaming in the afternoon. If all goes according to plan, I got a business trip out to Austin to pitch our idea. And then after that, hopefully get over to the offices and hang out there, play a little bit of World of Tanks. And then as it's dying, I'll be in the apocalypse right there. No, it's not. That'll be pretty cool. So look out for that. Look for the codes. Make sure you get those. Get ready for the Christmas event, which should be coming up, because we're finishing up. I said we were done, but we're not quite done. We're finishing up the Winter Challenge, which for me, I actually got to 6. I don't think I'm going to trip over to 8 because it's done tomorrow morning. I don't know. 8 a.m. on the 10th. Yeah, so tomorrow, it's over tomorrow in the morning. So tonight's all you got. Sunday, today, and tonight to burn that thing out. I don't think even at 60%, it's really worth the discount. It kind of depends. You're getting some extra stuff, so think about that as well. All the goodies that come with it. If you buy it, you get all that stuff. So there is, to some extent, more value buried in there than just the tank. You have to do that to taste, but I would say definitely 70% or more. 60 is a break point, maybe 50, depending if you really want it. But that's pretty much it, guys. I'm out, and we will see you later.